It's my honor and privilege to welcome Sir Richard Branson, who is really the ultimate entrepreneur. In 1970, Richard founded Virgin as a mail-order retailer. 7 years later, Virgin Music was one of the top 6 record companies in the world, having signed such legendary artists as the Rolling Stones. Today, the Virgin Group has expanded into leisure, travel, tourism, mobile, broadband, TV, radio, music festivals, finance, health. It's not on here, but he's also sending people to space and space tourism. And he's also working through the Virgin Green Fund to invest in renewable energy and resource efficiency. So it's a great honor. We're very humbled to welcome to the stage Sir Richard Branson.
I thought we were all going to come on together, but anyway. So I'd like to bring on Jose Maria Figueres, if he's there.
We're all here.
Come on. There. Jose Maria used to be president of Costa Rica, and he now heads up the Carbon War Room, and he's famous for the saying, "There's no planet B." And anyway, he heads out the Carbon War Room in a magnificent way and with a great sense of smile and with the takes on the challenge full on. Anyway, thank you for coming. I'll leave you to introduce everybody else.
Thank you, Richard. Well, thank you for being with us. We'll come to you one by one. We have some questions that we'd like to ask you here this afternoon. Buenas tardes, amigas y amigos. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí esta tarde con nosotros. Johan, let me come to you first. So, as Richard just said, there is no planet B. We've got to take care of this home that we have. There are obviously many things that we could do better. So, what is your vision of a perfect world, and how could business help achieve that vision?
Well, Jose Maria, first and foremost, I guess I hope that our demands as humans do not exceed our planet's capacity to actually sustain us. So I call it the entry ticket for getting admitted to the perfect world and to paradise and not getting kicked out of it. And perhaps we're actually restoring and replenishing nature's beauty and its resources. And I think I'm allowed to fantasize a bit about paradise in my description of the perfect world. A perfect world would be one in which poverty has been eradicated and human prosperity. It's within planetary boundaries, allowing us and nature to flourish. A world where we celebrate nature's and cultural diversity all together in peace. Now, in terms of businesses, I wish for business to contribute to an equitable and sustainable future, where business has moved beyond being a part of the problem and has become a bigger part of the solution. One in which valuing natural capital and accounting for businesses' environmental and social footprint on our planet is no longer just a dream and up for debate. I wish that businesses across all sectors are transparent and are taking full responsibility for nature, and perhaps that environmental profit and loss accounting has become de rigueur. And the race to the top is no longer towards the bottom line, but towards the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit, where we've attained an integrated vision, an interconnectedness of social, environmental, and economic dimensions of sustainable development, in which business is inclusive and holistic by working with nature and society combined. Call it a dream, call it paradise, whatever you want it, or perfect world, but that's certainly a world I would love to be a part of and live in.
Thank you. Johan Seitz, CEO of Puma.
So I think all these people on this stage have made real differences in their own businesses, and we have an awards ceremony at 7 o'clock tonight, if anybody's would like to come and see them receive their awards. But we thought we'd get some words of wisdom from them first. Eden, I think you won an award for innovations with mushrooms. and you seem to have disrupted the mushroom industry. And how do you actually go about disrupting that industry? And what can you explain why you got the award? Why you think you got the award? maybe they took too many mushrooms. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Even though it was a Dutch award, the Green Challenge, it wasn't that kind of mushroom. But we are disrupting the plastics industry at Ecovative, and we're doing it by growing an organism whose body's a living plastic. And disrupting conventional industries is really challenging because they're entrenched. They have built infrastructure, they've got built costs, they've got governance, right? They may have regulations that support them. And when people think of environmental technologies, they tend to think of things that are more expensive, that don't work as well, but have a green benefit. And I think the key is if we want to have impact, you have to create environmental technologies and demand that they're going to be better. And that can be cheaper, and that can be better environmental impact, and probably work 80% as good. But that's the definition of a disruptive technology. And you've seen these in backhoes. The original backhoes had cables, and they went to hydraulics. They were disrupted. You've seen this in the microprocessor industry when 3.5-inch discs replaced 5.5-inch discs. We went to hard drives. Now we're back to the cloud. So there's these disruptions in industry. But the two pieces of a disruptive technology are a radically better performing portion somewhere, an environmental technology, that's the environmental component, and then actually being cheaper. And as entrepreneurs, as innovators, as scientists, as young leaders coming up, we have to demand solutions that are actually going to be cheaper than existing fossil fuels and synthetics. And that's what we're trying to do at Ecovative. And I'll just add one other point, which is I think nature, the technology embodied in nature, in butterflies or in trees, is the ultimate disruptive solution, which is going to let us live sustainably on this planet.
So, Richard, one of the nice things about Eben's Prize and what he's doing is that, in this world of today, one never knows where one receives help from, but there are people there trying to do good. In his case, it was the Dutch postcode lottery that recognized the potential of what he was doing and singled him out and has nurtured his endeavor going forward. Richard introduced me as having a responsibility now with the Carbon War Room, which is a Richard Branson and other global entrepreneurs initiative to identify sectors of the global economy where we can identify gigaton level carbon emission reductions that are on the 50% of the curve, of the carbon emission curve, where we can reduce them without any further need for governmental regulations or agreements. In other words, it makes good business sense to reduce those carbon emissions. And Dennis Hunter has certainly been an innovator in that field. His company, Y-Green, and I want to come to you now, Dennis, your company, Y-Green, has been very much a pioneer in working on the one side with energy efficiency, on the other side with clean or new energies, and retrofitting all of those on to our existing buildings, achieving enormous reductions in cost. Perhaps the culminating moment of that as a disruptive new industry was last year, your $650 million deal with the cities of Miami and Sacramento. So I wanted to ask you, what are the impediments for pushing more in that direction, and how can we mobilize more capital into that space?
Well, I think the answers are the same answers that you've all encountered, and they're the answers to the same problems. Business as usual, I've heard that 10 times today. Government as usual hasn't been able to solve these problems that we're facing in the environment. So we set about on our mission of trying to employ private capital to solve a world problem, and it was difficult to do. You ran into the government, there are various regulations. You ran into bankers that didn't want to loan, so that, I don't know if Mark Twain at one time wrote that bankers are the kind of guys that loan you an umbrella when it's sunny and ask you for the umbrella back when it rains. That's what's going on in the world right now. Money's tight. It won't flow into this industry at a reasonable cost. So we had to develop a model that had the securities necessary to attract capital, to work with the government, to overcome the existing legislation and to present new legislation that would facilitate energy retrofits in buildings and any other area. It could be agriculture, it could be airplanes. Under a law in California, you can now do it in tangibles, so you could do something like an engine for a railroad engine that was environmentally clean, but it was really no money. There's no money in the sector available for the environmental. The other complicating problem in engaging buildings to do this work is that building owners, the owners of the built environment, just don't know that this is out there. They don't know the money's available, and they don't know that the law lends itself to this practice. So that's a big hurdle. What our company's done, and what we think is a little different, and hopefully it gets adopted all over the world, is we've adopted a model that's 100% financed by private capital. It not only finances the improvements on the buildings, it also finances the municipalities, the government agencies that want to start a program and don't have the capital to do so. The next thing we do is either we insure or the companies involved have agreed to insure the actual energy savings, whether it comes from in retrofits or the renewable generation, so that a prospective user of the products and these systems knows going in that under our model, he will save money. So when you 100% finance something and you make money with what you do with your building, we feel that should be very attractive. So part of our model is getting the marketing done to educate people that this is a no-cost, make-money proposition that hopefully will really convert a lot of these CO2 generating engines around the country. All of our buildings, this massive output of contaminants. So that's been our goal. We found that business as usual hasn't worked, and we really applaud the notion of screw business as usual. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, I just want to say congratulations to you all, and may there be, thousands and thousands of businesses worldwide that get out there and screw business as usual in the years to come, so we can get the world right. Anyway, thanks very much for coming. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.